Fred Lewis is back, and he's not just striking gold. He's rewriting the rules. After months of silence, rumors that he'd vanished from the mining scene, Fred uncovered a haul worth $85 million, shaking the gold world to its core. Hidden maps in a 1920s miner's diary led him to secret underground labyrinths filled with gold, relics, and unsolved mysteries. Every tunnel he navigated, every hidden vein uncovered, confirmed one fact. Fred Lewis's instincts are legendary, matched only by his relentless skill. Fans, skeptics, and rivals are watching in awe as he turns a gold strike into a full-blown legend. Enormous nuggets, historic coins, and cryptic artifacts hint that the story is far from over. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and get ready to witness one of the boldest gold discoveries in history. Fred had kept his find secret. The map was dangerous knowledge, and he intended to use it first. Each night, he traced routes, imagined shafts, and calculated angles, feeling the pulse every prospector dreams of. By dawn, excavation began under the guise of maintenance. Early shafts revealed rock formations that defied logic, quartz perfectly layered, gold streaks at impossible angles. Crew members whispered in awe about phantom veins that vanished and reappeared. Fred suspected miners long gone had engineered these treasures to remain hidden until the worthy arrived. Sensors beeped with irregular magnetic readings. Every hotspot hinted at hidden caches or abandoned vaults. This wasn't just a strike. It was history in the making, and the tension in the air was electric. But fortune has its shadows. Suspicion seeped through the camp when Fred's security measures caught something chilling, an anonymous crew member leaking location coordinates to a rival camp. The betrayal was subtle, but undeniable. Fred didn't panic. He turned it into a psychological test, subtly observing behaviors, reading glances, listening to whispered conversations, forcing the traitor to reveal themselves without a single accusation. Meanwhile, rival crews, sensing something massive on the horizon, began staking nearby ground, moving stealthily in the night, trying to intercept a claim they didn't fully understand. Fred countered with drones patrolling the perimeter, cameras in every corner, catching flickers of movement, shadows bending over equipment, small shafts dug under moonlight. Trust in the camp frayed, loyalty stretched thin, and Fred's leadership was under pressure. But he thrived in these moments. Every challenge became a test of skill, intuition, and nerve. As the night deepened, his vigilance paid off in unexpected ways. Sensors picked up subtle vibrations beneath the surface, hinting at something hidden just below the rocky crust. Acting on instinct, Fred guided his team toward the source, prying open the first access points to reveal a sprawling network of underground chambers. Twisted tunnels wove like veins beneath the rock, each passage a gamble, some collapsing under the slightest pressure, dust choking the air, timbers groaning as if warning them to turn back. Yet the walls whispered secrets, intentional hollows, hidden cavities, and pockets that seemed deliberately constructed to hide gold. Fred's mind raced, connecting the dots. These weren't random shafts. They were a labyrinth engineered by miners decades, maybe centuries ago. Symbols etched in the rock glinted under their headlamps, strange sigils and cryptic markings suggesting codes, rituals, or warnings from a bygone era. Crew members froze at the eerie beauty, debating whether the danger outweighed the promise. Panic flirted with ambition, and yet Fred's voice cut through the tension, steady and commanding. "This is why we're here," he said, his eyes scanning the map in his mind, "not just for gold, but for legacy." We push forward. The night brought its own tests. By morning, sabotage had struck. Hydraulic lines were slashed, sluices fractured, fuel siphoned with clinical precision. Fred's first thought was rivals, other miners desperate to intercept the vein. But the labyrinth itself seemed to play tricks. Could these traps be remnants of the original miners, designed to protect their hoard? The crew went to work with relentless focus, improvising repairs, patching machinery, rerouting water, installing hidden cameras and trip sensors. Each setback revealed unexpected gains. Debris moved during the chaos exposed a vein previously blocked from view. Fred seized the moment, framing the disruption as a test of resolve. "Gold doesn't give itself up," he said, eyes glinting with determination. "It measures us before it rewards us." Spirits lifted. The crew transformed frustration into adrenaline, tension into determination. The labyrinth offered more than gold. Hidden in recesses were relics, corroded coins, rusted tools, journals with yellowed pages, even jewelry crafted by hands long gone. Some pieces bore markings linking them to secretive circles of early prospectors, clues of alliances or societies that had whispered through history. Fred arranged for historians to verify the artifacts, flying them in under strict discretion. Each validation heightened the mystique. This was no longer just a gold strike. It had become an archaeological revelation. The crew, initially focused on ounces and bars, now moved with reverence through the tunnels, documenting every object, every inscription. Cameras captured their awe as centuries-old journals detailed miners' lives, ambitions, and fears, stories frozen in time. Shadows flickered along walls, stories interweaving with tangible treasure, reminding the team that every ounce of gold carried history. Word, as always, travels fast. Rumors of the find seeped beyond the valley, whispers of shadowy figures, mysterious investors, and secret collectors eyeing the claim. Security tightened, but the atmosphere brimmed with excitement. The labyrinth's design, both perilous and poetic, challenged the crew's endurance, but the discovery of artifacts fueled a new narrative. They weren't just miners anymore. They were explorers, historians, the keepers of a legacy that had slept beneath the earth for generations. Every new chamber revealed a puzzle, every symbol a riddle. Fred's voice remained unwavering, grounding the team. "We don't just dig for gold. We uncover stories. We honor what came before. Every decision, every step. This is what separates legends from amateurs." Tunnels narrowed, dust thickened. Water seeped into corners where shadows clung. Yet with each obstacle, Fred pushed forward, mapping veins, decoding symbols, and overseeing extraction with an almost surgical precision. The Sabotage had tested their patience. The labyrinth had tested their courage. Now the unearthed relics tested their wonder, transforming fear into purpose. The team worked in synchronized rhythm, chisels and picks striking stone, sluices washing gold, cameras rolling to document history in real time. They moved like a single organism, eyes scanning for anomalies, ears tuned to the groan of timber, hearts pounding with the knowledge that every step forward brought them closer to a hall beyond imagination. The corridors themselves seemed alive. Sometimes a gust of underground wind carried scents of ancient minerals. Other times the flicker of lamps revealed patterns in the walls, invisible in daylight. Each artifact discovered, coins, tools, journals, jewelry, added layers of meaning to their work. One journal revealed a ledger of gold stashes, coded in symbols matching the walls. Another artifact hinted at collaboration between miners and wealthy patrons, suggesting that portions of the hall had been intentionally hidden to avoid detection. A centuries-old game of greed and secrecy. Crew members whispered theories, debates igniting under the pale light. The thrill was intoxicating. They weren't just following gold. They were uncovering the footprint of history itself, woven into the labyrinth's architecture. Fred's leadership became the anchor amidst chaos. He directed shifts, prioritized safety without slowing momentum, and transformed paranoia into strategy. Drones patrolled the chambers from above, tracking movement, lighting hidden corners, capturing evidence of the sabotage. Each mechanical beep was a pulse of reassurance, each camera angle a piece of the unfolding story. The labyrinth's complexity pushed the crew to innovate. Portable supports for collapsing shafts, diversion channels for water, even primitive scaffolds adapted from historical minor notes found in journals. Every adjustment became a testament to resilience, a declaration that no obstacle, natural, human, or engineered, would halt the expedition. The labyrinth held secrets beyond even Fred's expectations. Dust-covered walls concealed patterns, hollow spaces echoed whispers of the past, and veins of gold intertwined with relics of human ambition. Crew members felt it, a shiver of awe and fear, the sense of standing inside a story, centuries in the making. Each discovery, coins in a carved niche, tools stacked as if for ceremonial use, journals tucked behind stone panels, fed both adrenaline and reverence. They worked tirelessly, extracting gold, cataloging artifacts, and analyzing cryptic symbols that hinted at paths yet unexplored. The line between miner and historian blurred, ambition and wonder colliding in the labyrinth's heart. Fred's mantra resonated through the tunnels. Gold tests resolve, history tests curiosity, and only those willing to embrace both emerge as legends. Every sabotaged line, collapsing timber, and artifact uncovered reinforced a singular truth. The labyrinth was alive, demanding courage, intuition, and relentless drive. The shadows stretched longer, corridors twisted further, and yet the team pressed on, driven by the faint glimmer of veins yet untouched. But as the first light of dawn filtered through cracks in the ceiling, the gold seemed to vanish as mysteriously as it had appeared. Seams that gleamed under the first pick now disappeared, leaving Fred and his crew staring at walls that once promised wealth, now mocking them with emptiness. Some whispered of water erosion, lava flows, or natural phenomena beyond comprehension. But Fred's instincts told him the truth. The original miners had engineered this labyrinth not just to hide treasure, but to test every soul bold enough to follow. And Fred was determined that this challenge would not outlast him. The tension was palpable. Every tunnel became a puzzle, every corner a potential trap. Night fell, and surveillance cameras captured faint glimmers dancing in previously cleared shafts, tiny reflections teasing what the eye could barely trust. The crew worked with laser precision, scanning, mapping, cross-referencing old journals and symbols etched in stone. Slowly, painstakingly, they realized the vein was far larger than they'd imagined, stretching beyond the reach of their initial calculations. It was unpredictable, seductive, dangerous, a treasure that demanded caution as much as ambition. Every step forward carried the thrill of discovery and the weight of possible collapse, the labyrinth itself both ally and adversary. Then the storm hit. Winds howled across the camp, torrents of rain pounding the valley and forcing partial evacuation from the lower shafts. Flooded tunnels became battlefields as the crew fought to salvage gold before it was lost to swirling water and mud. Equipment groaned under strain, sluices clogged with debris, and timbers trembled as rivers forced their way into the labyrinth's depths. Yet in the chaos, Fred held the line. His crew adapted, redirecting water, shoring up weak points, and working in shifts around the clock to extract treasure before it disappeared beneath the flood. Rival crews, unable or unwilling to risk the storm, were sidelined, giving Fred a rare advantage. Drones captured surreal footage of gold veins glinting through murky waters, a scene both terrifying and hypnotic. And in a twist of fortune, the storm uncovered a shaft previously hidden by centuries of collapse and sediment. A vein so rich, It made every previous find pale in comparison. The labyrinth, as always, revealed its secrets on its own terms. As Fred assessed the new vein, an unexpected message arrived. A rival miner, known for cutthroat tactics, proposed a temporary alliance. Suspicion ran through the camp like wildfire. Could Fred trust a competitor whose ambition was legendary and loyalty questionable? He weighed the value. This miner had access to equipment and techniques that might expose hidden portions of the vein, knowledge they alone could not reach. Fred decided to gamble. The alliance, uneasy and tense, brought new dynamics. Joint operations began, the crews navigating corridors side by side, sharing methods for excavation, mapping tunnels, and stabilizing precarious shafts. Each move carried the silent question: who would betray first? Crew members whispered in corners, debating loyalty and motive, watching each other with cautious eyes. Yet the collaboration revealed veins previously missed, gold tucked into impossible corners of the labyrinth, hidden under centuries of stone and sediment. Every new seam, every discovery, intensified the drama. The alliance was as much a psychological game as a mining operation, amplifying stakes, fueling ambition, and setting the stage for confrontations and revelations yet to come. Tensions ran high as the crews learned to anticipate each other's movements. Techniques clashed. One crew relied on brute force, the other on precision tools and sensors, but each discovery forced respect. Suspicion never left the air, but necessity demanded cooperation. Together, they uncovered hidden pockets of gold, shafts that twisted and spiraled beyond the reach of maps, veins that seemed to vanish when unobserved, only to reappear where least expected. Fred's leadership was tested daily, balancing diplomacy with authority, patience with decisiveness. The labyrinth revealed itself slowly, its veins teasing and challenging the teams at every turn. What had begun as a solitary hunt for fortune had morphed into a high-stakes, multi-layered operation where every decision mattered, every tunnel hid a secret, and every shadow could conceal opportunity or disaster. The unpredictability of the veins kept adrenaline high. Even after hours of excavation, gold would disappear into cavities, leaving only hints of shimmer on walls. Sensors occasionally picked up pockets of dense mineral hidden behind rock formations, challenging the crews to innovate extraction methods without triggering collapses. Mapping became an obsession, laser-guided, precise, and constantly updated. Every new diagram suggested possibilities, sometimes contradicting the previous day's discoveries. Crew members learned to trust instincts as much as data, to move quickly but cautiously, to anticipate traps set by miners long gone. Even minor missteps carried consequences. A miscalculated dig could flood a chamber or dislodge a precious vein, costing weeks of work. The storm's aftermath reshaped the labyrinth, creating new channels of water, uncovering previously inaccessible tunnels, and exposing veins that had been hidden for centuries. Gold seemed to shimmer almost mockingly in the murky water, daring the crew to retrieve it. Fred's team worked with surgical precision, balancing speed with care, extracting nuggets that ranged from ordinary flecks to clusters of astonishing size. Each success fueled excitement, but also paranoia. Who was watching, and what could be lurking in shadows? The alliance added another layer of intrigue. While the rival miner contributed techniques and manpower, subtle gestures, sidelong glances, and whispered debates reminded everyone that trust was fragile, conditional, and temporary. Even under stress, discoveries kept coming. Shards of historical artifacts surfaced alongside gold, a coin here, a rusted tool there, reminding the crew of the labyrinth's layered history. They cataloged everything meticulously, sensing that the value of the find was as much in its story as in the gold itself. Tension blended with awe. Fear danced with ambition. The vein was both a reward and a riddle, offering glimpses of untold riches while challenging every assumption. Fred's voice remained steady through it all, directing extraction, maintaining focus, and ensuring that caution never overshadowed the hunt. Every night, the labyrinth seemed to come alive. Shadows stretched unnaturally along walls, water reflected glimmers of gold in deceptive patterns, and even the familiar paths appeared to shift under the mind's eye. The crews adapted, innovated, and pressed forward, uncovering veins and pockets that no single team could have found alone. The alliance, uneasy yet effective, magnified every discovery, every misstep, and every triumph. Together, the miners navigated hazards, extracted treasure, and pieced together the ancient puzzle etched in stone. Gold had become more than metal. It was proof of persistence, a test of trust, and the ultimate prize in a labyrinth that refused to yield its secrets easily. Hours blurred into days as veins revealed themselves sporadically, shimmering, disappearing, and reappearing, testing both patience and skill. Extraction remained meticulous, massive nuggets carefully removed, smaller seams traced to prevent collapse, tunnels reinforced for safety. Each recovered vein reinforced Fred's belief. This was a labyrinth designed to challenge generations, rewarding only those who combined skill, courage, and intuition. The alliance, though fraught with suspicion, added a tense edge to every decision, every swing of the pick, every careful drill. Then, as if the labyrinth itself had been waiting for the right hands, a single massive nugget appeared, partially encased in quartz and glittering under the headlamps like a relic from another world. Fred's crew froze, breaths caught, hearts racing, the air electric with disbelief. This wasn't just gold, it was a declaration, proof that skill, instinct, and perseverance could tame even the most elusive veins. Engineering teams scrambled, devising custom supports and extraction methods to bring it to daylight without fracturing a gram. Tension crackled with every lever pulled, every jack turned, every pulley tested, cameras rolling to capture each strained muscle, each glint of awe on faces hardened by years of prospecting. Debates erupted on technique. Should they risk speed for safety or patience for perfection? Fred's eyes never wavered. His instincts guided every decision. When the nugget finally broke free, the roar of celebration echoed through the labyrinth, a sound that carried through tunnels built by hands long gone, a triumph over time, secrecy, and risk. Word spread faster than dynamite through the mining world. The nugget became global news within hours, sparking envy, admiration, and speculation. Analysts and historians dissected every frame, every detail, debating its origins, purity, and the methodology behind the extraction. Social media erupted with praise and disbelief, fans hailing Fred as a modern-day legend, while skeptics questioned the legitimacy of his methods. Fred played it smart, teasing glimpses of the nugget, never fully revealing the haul, ensuring eyes stayed glued to the story as the narrative built to its crescendo. Cameras caught him holding the nugget, a silent smile conveying confidence and triumph, his instincts validated before the world. The full assay and valuation arrived, confirming what the crew had suspected but dared not hope aloud. The haul totaled $85 million. This wasn't just a single nugget. It included rare finds, historic coins, and artifacts carefully preserved in the labyrinth's hidden chambers. Fred orchestrated a controlled media reveal, inviting select analysts, journalists, and historians. Every object was displayed, cataloged, and contextualized, emphasizing not just monetary value, but historical significance. Experts speculated openly about secret veins still hidden within the labyrinth, hinting that this haul could be only a fraction of what lay beneath. Rival miners, once skeptical or derisive, grudgingly acknowledged Fred's genius, while whispers about the mysterious map's origin swirled through forums, podcasts, and private conversations. Conspiracy theories blossomed. Some claimed Fred had insider knowledge, others theorized ancestral secrets embedded in the labyrinth, all adding layers to the legend forming around him. As social media exploded, the legend of Fred Lewis solidified. Clips of extraction, artifact discovery, and the cinematic struggle to reveal the mega nugget circulated worldwide. Mining forums debated the technical brilliance, historians marveled at the artifact collection, and fans dissected every detail of the labyrinth's design. Fred became both hero and polarizing figure, a man whose skill, intuition, and audacity were undeniable, yet whose secrecy and competitive edge made some question the methods behind his success. Every frame of footage, every public statement reinforced the myth. Fred Lewis was not just a miner. He was a modern prospector whose legacy was being written in real time. Even as the haul's magnitude became public, Fred's focus remained forward. He secured his claim legally, ensuring that the labyrinth and its riches were protected. Plans for reinvestment in advanced mining technology and equipment were quietly set in motion, promising efficiency and safety for future endeavors. The crew celebrated with quiet satisfaction, aware they had participated in history. Yet whispers persisted about undiscovered veins, hidden chambers, and symbols whose meaning had yet to be fully decoded. Old maps, journals, and markings suggested that even the $85 million haul could be only the surface layer of wealth buried beneath the labyrinth. Fred's mind was already scanning these hints, planning future expeditions, teasing further discoveries without revealing specifics, keeping anticipation high. The labyrinth, once a mysterious and perilous network of tunnels, had delivered its secrets, but it still held more. Fred walked through the tunnels with measured steps, eyes tracing familiar markings, feeling the pulse of history in the stones. Each symbol, each etched line, reminded him that the story was unfinished. The haul had elevated his status, yet it was the promise of what remained hidden that drove the team onward. The mega nugget, the $85 million haul, the relics, the labyrinth, all were part of a narrative that blended history, risk, ingenuity, and mystery. Fred Lewis stood at the center, not just as a prospector, but as a legend in motion, a modern explorer whose story would inspire awe, debate, and speculation long after the gold was counted. Fans and observers were left imagining the undiscovered chambers, veins shimmering just beyond reach, tunnels yet to be mapped, and the hidden wealth still sleeping under layers of rock and history. Fred's story had become a living legend, a blend of modern mining skill, historical intrigue, and calculated risk. He had silenced doubters, captured imaginations, and rewritten the playbook on gold discovery, proving that instinct, intelligence, and relentless determination could turn myths into reality. And as his crew cataloged the haul, secured the artifacts, and mapped every remaining corridor, the labyrinth whispered promises of more. More gold, more mystery, more drama. Fred Lewis had not just struck gold. He had carved a narrative that would echo through time, blending treasure, legend, and human ambition into a story that no one would forget.